I'm back with Helen Thomas. Okay, let's talk a little politics about current things that are happening. Okay. I mean, President Bush, W. Bush, just had to cancel a trip to Switzerland because they were saying they would prosecute him for war crimes. I mean, do you think he deserves to be prosecuted for war crimes?
I think that he certainly should not have started the war against Iraq. There was no reason, and they were based on falsehoods. And thousands are dead, Americans and Iraqis. You have to have some blame for that.
And his cohorts, Rumsfeld and Cheney, were at the CPAC thing the other day, and people were yelling war criminals at both of them. Do you think that they're war criminals?
It's not for me to judge. I think that they made terrible mistakes, and they were so costly for humanity.
Okay, so you're not going to say that they're war criminals. You wouldn't say that.
I don't think that's my judgment.
Okay. Well, it was somebody's judgment. They yelled it out right there.
Yeah,
at a conservative.
That's all right. Thank God they have the right to yell.
That's right. Right. And basically, Cheney shut them down with, be quiet and shut
I think that nobody should take us to war on falsehoods.
Now, you've covered the White House for 50 years. I mean, first of all, you were there when JFK was president. I wonder, did people know about all of his shenanigans, all of his carrying on with other women that we know now?
In those days, only men talked to men. I mean, the Secret Service knew, and there were all kinds of rumors. But journalism was different then. You didn't really harp on anyone's personal life unless it really affected the national affairs and their public office.
They kept it quiet in those days, but look at what they did to Clinton because of that Monica Lewinsky
Well, the world
scandal.
has changed. I mean, the whole sex revolution of the 60s changed everybody's mentality. The whole barred. We have tabloids. Even if the mainstream press would have avoided the story, they would write it, and you'd have to jump on it.
Yeah, things have changed. And President Obama, do you like him? Do you think he's doing a good job? We started out the conversation before about it a little bit.
I think he lacks courage.
He lacks courage.
And he's not a liberal. I had hoped he was. I thought he was, because he was black, I thought he would automatically be...
Well, that was your mistake.
That was my mistake. I thought he'd be liberal.
Can't judge a person by the color.
Absolutely, you're so right. But I really thought that he would have an empathy for all the blacks, what they had gone through in life.
Well, I think he does have empathy, but he's up against a Republican machine that he has to get reelected. You know, I mean, he's in a tough spot. Doesn't he have to get reelected? He needs the middle, doesn't he?
You take a stand on something in your life, you should have principle and stick to them.
Okay, now you've got this new job where you're writing for this newspaper. Let's see this paper. The Falls Church News Press in Virginia. How did that come about?
I gave unsolicited advice to press secretaries. And the new one.
Jay Carney. How do you think he's going to do as press secretary?
He'll do well in the first 2 days.
And then what'll happen?
God knows.
They'll eat him up.
Then they get mad at the press, even though he's been a member of the press. They become taking it all very personal.
They get a little hostile. Who was the most hostile one? Ari Fleischer?
He was one of the worst.
One of the worst. And who was one of the best?
Jerry Horst. He lasted 1 month.
Who did he...
President Ford. He was President Ford. Yes, two of his friends came to the White House and said, we understand that President Ford has sent an emissary to San Clemente to give a pardon to Richard Nixon. It was denied at the White House, and he couldn't handle that because he had great integrity and credibility, and so he had lied to his...
I see. Do you think Nixon was the worst president of the 20th century?
No, I think Bush was.
George W. Bush. Well, that's saying...
21st century.
Well, he went into that one. That's right, 21st, right. But Nixon was the worst of the 20th. And so far, you think George W. is the worst in the 21st century. Okay, you heard it here, ladies and gentlemen. Helen Thomas. We'll be right back. Thank you, Helen.